Hi, you guys. Happy Thursday. It is Jubilation Joy. All right, you guys. I have been on the struggle bus sincerely since almost a week, almost 2 weeks ago. But before we get into that, how have you guys been doing? What have you guys been doing to keep your mind and your heart at peace during this crazy COVID-19 quarantine wherever you are living, state, country that you are in, knowing that I am praying for you, knowing that I am here for you, knowing that we are all in this together. It doesn't matter what race you are, what background, none of that matters, that we are all fighting this together as one. Let's get it going. So, like I said, um, since almost 2 weeks ago, well, yeah, about 2 weeks ago, the Sunday before last, I went to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room. Exactly. Dealing with a chronic illness is never ever easy, and I mean never easy. And if any individuals that watch my videos, you have a family member, you yourself, children, a friend, whatever, every single day, it is gut wrenching. It's hard. There's the struggles. There's the mental and physical, emotional battles that comes with the territory that you're already dealing with. Physical. Like I said, we're all in the same boat. I know exactly how you feel. Um, it's been a while since I had a lot of my infusions, a lot of my medications. I have some of my medications that I take at home daily, every day. But one of the things I have been battling is a cold way before the COVID-19 started, and that was back in January, just having a lot of colds. And I was talking to my immunology doctor about, what can we do to boost my immune system? I mean, besides taking, over the counter vitamins and also taking, DIY things that you know, Incanea, if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, black seed oil, just things that you know how to do. I am not a friend of citrus. I used to be. Citrus is not a friend of me. So let me just put it like this. I cannot get the vitamin C that I would just eat an orange or drinking orange juice. I'd have to do it through a pill. And that's what I've been doing since day one before this started. But it hasn't really assisted. Um, just having a cold back to back and back to back. And the Obagio medication that I take for the multiple sclerosis, that definitely has a trial and error that comes with that. The reason being is because it lowers my immune system way down much more where I'm susceptible to infections and everything that is out there. It lowers my white blood cells. It lowers my red blood cells. When I talked to my immunology doctor back in the first week um, of March, I was supposed to go in to get an immune booster shot for my red blood cell count, but she called me and canceled it because when everything became much worse and a lot of people started taking the COVID-19 seriously, a lot of the hospitals and clinics started to just go on major lockdown mode. They started, taking precautions, little steps here and there to ensure safety. But as you've seen throughout March, a lot of hospitals just full on took a major change. And for individuals like us, a lot of my appointments became, on pause, became on halt, just to, like pumping the brakes, and it made me excruciatingly angry of missing so many things as it put my health in so much of a compromised position that it already is. So let me get back to what I was saying. On the Sunday before last, I went to the emergency room. I did get tested for the COVID. It came back negative, so it meant to that. But during the experience that I had while I was, well, let me explain what led me to go there. I was having diarrhea. Sorry, TMI, but this is what happened. A lot of vomiting. I already deal with gastroparesis, also CVS, which is cyclic vomiting syndrome. I take Zofran, take some over-the-counter medications. I've had prescriptions. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. And I notice when my body has a flare from an MS or from the transverse myelitis, where my body is just going in an uproar, it literally upsets every single aspect of my body where I'm a lot of times trying to stay out the hospital before this even happened, and I'm battling on my own. And then when it becomes push to shove, then I go to the hospital And then in this situation, it's one of those kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't type of situations, to be honest with you, because it felt very scary. You stay home, you do your medications, but things are getting worse. You're vomiting, you're feeling weak, you're losing weight. Your family is trying to help you as much to their ability as they can, but you see and you feel your body is just literally just shutting down. And I mean, being in the bathroom 2, 3 hours, I could not even stand up without having to go again, come and lay down in the bed. And before I could just get in the bed a good 5 minutes, guess what? I'm back in there again. Thank God for my husband ever just supporting me through it all. It just hasn't been easy, and we're just vomiting and then with that. So it's like, okay, well, normally I get fluids, but that had been put on hold. So, let's repeat it, like, okay, you're doing Powerade, you're doing Gatorade. Guess what? It did not help. I vomited that up too. Okay, well, what can we do? Okay, you're trying to call your PCP, you're talking on the phone, you're doing the video chats. Okay, well, what can I do over the counter medications that I already have or might need to send my family to go ahead and pick up? Okay, let's do Pepto-Bismol. Try that. Guess what? It made it worse. I had to, well, not that I had to, um, I vomited up, so there was no relief for me. And then battling a low grade fever for 5 days. It never went above 99.9. It stayed at that, but it made my body feel so miserable. But like I said before, I did get tested. It came back negative, and they did do it correctly. I mean, so up there went before they was digging literally inside my brain. So they did do it correctly when I was in the ER, and it came back negative. So I'm just very relieved about that. I want to reiterate that. A lot of times you see on TV where some people may have little symptoms and then they might have it. Sometimes the doctors or the nurses may not do the test thoroughly as they should, and a person might get false results thinking that they don't have it, but in actuality, they do. But they did do it correct, and the results did come back negative. So just put that out there again. But everything, like I said, all the flares, just everything was getting out of control. I use my rollator every day because of multiple sclerosis and transverse myelitis, and I noticed that my gait, meaning my walking, became worse than it had been in a long time. Just my brain was off, everything. So when I went to the emergency room, Eva could not come with me. Um, and I thought maybe, and I did see on a lot of different um, hospitals how they had changed the rules and everything, but they was making certain exceptions to whoever you was pregnant, and I know I'm not pregnant yet, but just for different exceptions for individuals, like especially for chronic ill people, if you need help. And I can't answer, I can see, I could think for myself, but there are times where the illness has become so outrageously crazy that I need someone. When I started having seizures, I couldn't comprehend anything. I didn't know who I was. I didn't remember who anybody was, and that was last year. So with me having an illness where so many things could go left, go wrong, just within a blink of an eye, it's awesome to have someone there with me. Um, so my husband was not able to travel with me in the ambulance. So he put the rollator in the inside the ambulance, and they brought me to the emergency room. It was not full in there as I would have thought. Once I got in there and the EMTs talked to the emergency room um, team that was there, I was in the back of the hospital in the triage area, literally within 10 minutes. And with me going back there was an amount of 5 people. So it wasn't full at all. As I was told, there was no one in the lobby. The lobby was completely empty. So they was able just to come and attend to my needs very quickly. As soon as I got there, I had an awesome nurse. Well, the first nurse, she had to help me unchange and do the urine specimen. Do all the same, routine testing. I had a CT scan that came back that I had the bottom part of my right lung is collapsed. I don't need surgery or anything, but it will heal on its own. And then come to find out that I had something called like chronic gastritis and also chronic pancreatitis. I don't have pancreatic cancer. It's just chronic pancreatitis. And I was having like a very small hole in my stomach that they seen. I don't need surgery for that as well. Those things will heal on its own. So those were the diagnosis that I was giving um, once the test results came back. So they gave me morphine because my blood pressure now, mind you, I don't have blood pressure problems, but anytime my body is just at that outrageous high capacity, going from 140 to about the top number, 140 to 150 to 160. My ending number was 170 over 130. That is outrageously dangerous. And they had to give me morphine, just only a small dose to bring it down. And once, I don't like the feeling of those type of medications. Um, I'm not a fan of it, but I even asked for something different. I said, look, the first time I had morphine was when I was when everything officially started back in 2016, and having the hospital give me that and Percocet. I felt just totally just off and weird and crazy, and I never ever wanted to get that again. And I haven't had that since 2016, and this is 2020. Um, but they gave it to me even though I said I didn't want it. They felt that that was the best option because they were so concerned about my blood pressure with the pain was raising the blood pressure. They had to give me something directly in the system that was going to work. So they gave me that. They gave me some Zofran. They gave me some IV fluids. They gave me another medication, Pepcid or something. Just so many things were happening at once. They had to access my porta cat. It had to be flushed because it hadn't been cleaned in a while because I don't have any equipment here. And normally I go to the hospital when I get my infusions done and they do their job with that. But since my doctor sends me there to get those things done and I don't have anything here, I started feeling like it was moving around and it started feeling hot. So I'm glad that I was able to get that done there at the hospital. They managed to give me my vitamin B12 shot because normally I get my vitamin B12 when I go to my appointments. But since, like I said, those have been canceled, the emergency room gave it to me. I'm due for that again. Nobody let me know that he was coming back home. Well, that he was coming inside. He went and ran to the store to go pick up a few things. We try not to shop all the time as much, to try to bulk up as much as we need for about maybe 2 weeks amount of time. There's 5 people being in the home. We just try to do what we can as much as possible to limit anyone going out. I've also, for the first time, have been using the Walmart curbside pickup. They haven't been having the delivery available, but just ordering online and you're waiting in that parking area and they bring it outside to you. I think that's good, especially for this time or just for people that have illnesses or disabilities. I think it's awesome. And if you're lazy, I mean, then hey, that's it's for lazy people too. So I'm just making a joke. I'm not calling you lazy, but I'm just saying that I've been taking opportunities on that. My parents, since we live with them, they're not really a fan of it. They really like getting out and getting their own groceries, which they limit their grocery shopping as well. So my mom and Ever, they was together. So he's in the kitchen eating. I just finished eating, and I don't know what she's doing right now. But okay, back to what I was saying. So next next month, which is May coming up, around the second week or the third week, I will be due for my vitamin B12 shot again. And this is why I have been so adamant and just so desperate to talk to um, my primary care physician. Forgive me, having a lot of brain fog. I'm not feeling well. Trying to get her to get on the board to give me some home health solutions. And I spoke with them maybe a week before. It's about, I'll say a couple of weeks ago before I went to the emergency room. Just asking them about it, but they are so kind of difficult to deal with. Not all of them, but they send you through this whole unnecessary loop to make sure that you are legit and you are just qualified to have those things. And explaining my symptoms and what I've been through and what I'm going through, they was like, okay, you're more than qualified. That is awesome. But there's always a but. You are not dying, so it kind of just had them pumping the brakes. And they kept mentioning things, if you have a mental illness, we can send you in the home, we can give you medications. And I said, oh, that's great, but I don't have a mental handicap. So it kind of puts a damper, and I have been sad about that because it'll be a great assistance to me. Because once this is over, I mean, everybody's is going to, well, I won't say life will be back to normal. It's just some things will be back as scheduled. Ever will be back at work. My mom will be back at her job. My nephew, he's not going back to school, so he will be home. My dad will be back at work. I'm talking about just some things in general will seem like it's back to the original. The last time I loaded a video, the governor of Louisiana was talking about they was extending it until the end of this month, and technically today would be the last day because they only have 30 days in April. And as tomorrow Friday is being the first, when we look at the news, I think that was Tuesday night or yesterday, Tuesday or yesterday, they're extending it until the 17th. So I'm bummed and I'm happy about it because, and I will see the reason why it still keeps me out of the loop from getting to my appointments, the things that I need, that I desperately need to keep my body alive. It's good that I'm able to do video chat with my doctors, but it's not the same as, of course, interactive. Able to see you in the flesh type of normal appointment. It is aggravating. And Ever and I's 2-year anniversary is May 12th. It's my grandmother's birthday, which we got married on. My mom's birthday is May 12th. You have Mother's Day. Just things you try to do. Just it's like, oh no, it's you're still under quarantine. So a lot of restaurants are closed. You can order and they'll bring it out to you, but it's just not the same. So I don't know what he and I are gonna do, but we're just gonna make the best out of it no matter what. Like last week was on the 21st, last Tuesday, it was my dad's 63rd birthday, and it was also their 63 or 64. Please forgive me if I don't remember. And also their 36-year anniversary. So they have been married 36 years. They've been together about maybe 41. So they celebrated that. For their anniversary, what my parents did was that they just took a long drive, about maybe like an hour drive, just riding and just spending that time together. And they went into Walmart just to walk around. I don't know. I remember if they bought something or not, but that's what they wanted to do. And Ever and I gave them cash and a nice card, so they was completely satisfied. My brothers ordered meals for them to have at home, so they were ultimately just pleased no matter what, just to make it, just to be alive, still be together. And not, I think, I know that I have so much respect and love for them, which have Ever and I having, to look at them as amazing examples because they've survived so much way before this even happened. And for us, we've learned to watch a lot from watching them and giving us advice on how to survive the hard times. Excuse my voice is going out, even with chronic illness, and even now when you're having a worldwide pandemic. As Eva's birthday is on the night, just try to just make the best out of any situation. I hope you guys are too.